You should.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ryam. We've been having a wonderful conversation, which I will be editing out for many different reasons. Um, but
Please do.
We're glad to have you again. And I'm glad to be with my friends once again. So, before we get started,
Glad.
I am glad. You're like the only people I talk to. Well, that I care about that I talk to.
Yes.
Ooh, a deep cut.
Wow.
But this week, as always, we will introduce ourselves. But I had a very interesting, I came up with a good one, I think. So this week, gang, you're going to introduce yourself, your character, and you're going to tell us about a fan fiction that you or your character has written in the past that you do not really want to own up to, or they would not want to own up to.
Oh, you didn't specify the don't want to own up to part.
I think it was secret fanfic.
Yeah, secret
Yeah,
fanfic.
I saw secret.
I mean, but like, I mean, my impression is that everybody who writes fan fiction, like, does not go around telling their friends about it for the most part. Like,
Yeah, I thought that was implied with secret.
Well, I think there's a
there's been like secret and like assumed of.
Semantics.
like share under a pseudonym kind of level of secrecy.
Yeah,
that's
look,
what I
as with always, these things are open to your interpretation, my dear players,
Okay.
since you are giving up your information, and whatever you feel comfortable with. But I'll start. I'm Scoot. I'm your DM, talking head in the sky, and frankly, this whole fucking thing is a massive fanfic that I'm just making up with my friends as I go along. That I still am. I have to admit, as much as I love D&D and other RPGs. I still have a hard time telling my coworkers and parents that, like, I do this all the time. My mother caught me planning a session one time, and I had to lie to her and be like, no, I help my friend make a board game. As if that's any better. So take it away, gang.
All right. Hello, I am Robert. My character is Nikki, the human wizard. And when she was a young boy, she had just recently started working under, or apprentice. She'd started.
Apprenticing?
Sorry, tenses, like pronouns are weird with past tense post pronoun changes.
Because it's not that your character is trans and always knew she was she. She was, in fact, he at that time.
And he was totally happy with that, and now she's totally happy with being her. Anyways, fuck pronouns. Nikki.
That might be the title.
Just
of the session.
started Nick's apprenticeship. Sure, under Alistair Green, one of the two most prominent wizards in Ventos, the other being Northam Bainswick. And he wrote and distributed a great many enemies to lovers fanfics about the two, which drove them both absolutely insane. And if either one of them found out that Nick was the author, they might actually kill him.
Thank you for that knife, Robert. That silly will come up later.
You're welcome.
Can I request we can circle back? You can have a minute. I desperately want like a title for one of those works.
Okay, you got it. Well, I will give me like a few minutes. It's gotta be good.
We'll circle back.
Yeah.
But I'm hooked.
I will
And
make
I would
this, I will make this offer now to the players. If you provide me something that I can put in the episode, an excerpt from the characters or your fanfic, I will give you a pull from the bag.
God. Okay.
The regular bag.
I already kind of did that with mine.
Does it have to happen tonight?
No, before next week.
Oh,
Before
okay.
next week. Okay, great.
Okay.
I got time.
We can make this happen.
I'm
Absolutely.
gonna make a full story.
Deb is going to make a full story, it's true.
I'm gonna have that tomorrow, if not tonight.
Yeah. Oh, I have off tomorrow, so that's fine.
I think perhaps the storyboard text channel in the Discord is about to get a little crowded with some excerpts.
Some real hot and heavy excerpts.
Scoot,
Oh,
what if we give you an excerpt from a fan fiction we have actually already written that is unrelated to our character.
So if it is from the PC, I will handcraft a item for your character, as I am wont to do. But it needs to be good. Good. Then this like
good by fan fictions.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Can you post the rules somewhere after the session?
Yeah.
I'll post it later. Yeah.
I will be DMing you later with a list of your available genres to be choosing from. I've got an external hard drive for this shit.
I know. Let's get back to the intro.
Things are escalating in the best way.
Yeah.
I will continue the intros. I'm Will. I play Roscoe Barracksdottir, the Aasimar Warlock Sorcerer. And yes, even after that last level up, still just those two. So I don't know why this is not a thing I decided about Roscoe, but it was an immediate and very clear thought as soon as Scoot texted us. Roscoe 100% writes fan fiction about famous composers interacting as teenagers. Like as if there was this one magical high school where famous composers from this world interact as teenagers. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I'm going to explore it. I'm going to sit with it. But that is just the truth that I have for all of you.
Thank you, Will.
I'd like to go next on that because
what can have I just opened?
What have you?
No idea.
What have you wrought
upon this Discord in this game?
So I'm Randall, play Kiki, Kinku Tinkerer, and somewhat related to Roscoe. Kiki writes erotic fan fiction about famous scientists and how they have erotic encounters with their creations. The titles of her works are shockingly similar to those by Chuck Tingle, if you are familiar with his work.
Yes!
So she's written things like Pounded in the Butt by a Radioactive Isotope and my Recombinant DNA Lover. Like, these are the kind of things that advanced science,
Madam Bi Curious, like something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got it. That's 100% Kiki, and she would blush ferociously if anyone found out about or read any of it. In as much as a raven.
There would be a very awkward squawk, probably, and a very angry one.
She'd be so flustered. I can go next. So, hi, I'm Deb. I play Tessa, and I think we all know that Tessa's a bit of a romantic. She obviously loves fan fiction, and she's really not shy about it. She definitely has an archive of her own account. She writes stories about her favorite books and traveling shows and share them. However, recently, she has not shown anyone her newest fan fiction of her and Thrax, but it's completely wholesome and starts out with a picnic. But then the wolves come, and it turns into an epic fight for survival as they fight side by side against the odds. And it's 25k words, and the title is definitely taken from a sappy emo song.
Is it lewd? Is there hand holding?
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely lewd. It's rated
So
G.
Oh no.
Are ankles exposed?
This could be one of those things where like Tessa is describing in detail how like the blade sinks into the wolf, but then when you get to like interacting with Thrax, it's just like, and then they held hands and it's so
So steamy.
Just like anytime they're within like 6 feet of each other, it's just cry typing. The battle scenes are like perfectly like flawless.
What the fuck is that famous fanfic about that like emo girl that goes to Hogwarts?
Oh God,
My
Immortal.
Immortal.
Just
Which
like
is actually
happy.
it's an alchemism allegory, right?
I don't fucking.
I don't know what it is, but it's.
I'm pretty
both
sure that's actually a
disturbing and
thing.
genius.
Mhm.
There have been some dramatic retellings of that.
There have. If you ever have a chance to listen to like some of the folks who've done like fundraisers by reading that live on their Twitch streams, oh my gosh, you should.
And I believe our last one is Kate.
So let's see. Neva does not do Neva writes poetry, but like,
Ye old fan fiction.
but like, there's a certain kind of like. There's a certain kind of like escapism and imagination that's required to want to write fan fiction in the first place, and that's just not a thing that Neva has. But she definitely writes like E. Cummings style poems that are like non-rhyming, very free form, kind of fit what she's describing more. Also, Scoot, I figured out what I'm sending you.
Joy.
I think you might actually like it. Wait, have you ever read Hunger Games?
I know it exists.
I
know.
Hunger Games.
I have a rough idea of it. There's a bird woman there's another woman that's just like Gaga at the inauguration. That's about.
Just stop. Just
yeah.
Right, not sending you anything from that universe then.
The guy that played Hawkeye in the original MASH is in it. I know that. Not that I think anyone but maybe Randall knows the fuck I'm talking about. Maybe.
I know that.
Okay, good. 'Cause I don't know.
Alright, I'll find something better.
Watched a lot of TV Land as a child. Okay, well now that that's done, and we all know a little bit more about each other, let's head back. As last week, most of the Gaffers managed to bring down a fort made of humans that were carrying some very interesting weaponry.
Okay, the fort was not made of humans, to be clear. There were humans in the fort, but the fort itself was not made of humans. I feel like this is important to clarify.
Made out of humans, to be honest.
Is this like Attack on Titan? Come on.
Yes.
I
Spoilers.
really don't need Funimation or whoever the fuck to come after me for that, so thank you for correcting me. It was a fort occupied by humans. Some of them were on horses, but there were also beings from the Shadowfell and a particularly large demon that knocked around some of the party a bit. Some of you had some wounds and came a little close to dropping to the ground. Luckily, the gang pulled through with the help of their new Fury friend, Idri, and managed to make their way back to the crossroads, where they are now finding themselves relaxing after a very hard-fought battle, some of them working out stiffness from healing, stiffness from joints, exhaustion kind of after having the heals, kind of making sure there's no permanent damage. But you folks are in the town. I believe you had visited the baths, kind of washed up a little bit, but you folks are free to move around as you wish. I know Roscoe has some unfinished business with the Lord of the Storm Spire, and there is the matter of telling Mom where you've been and why Kiki and Nikki look like they've been through a ringer.
Yeah, ow.
Yep. So the game is yours, folks. We will say you can, we can be at the baths. We can kind of go through that, whatever you folks would like to do.
And just for the listeners' reference, we kind of did some text-based off-screen RP of just everybody goes to the bath, sets a nice time, and very intentionally does not talk about what happened because, one, we wanted to save that interaction for you guys. And two, in character, it kind of made sense that, like, just everybody wanted to just relax and not think about what was going on for a little bit. And so we learned more about each other. And that was about it.
Yep, you all had a good time. You all, the only thing from there that was noticeable was that Idri and her paramour, I believe is the word, yeah, kind of went off on their own. They have left you folks to probably go have a meal, have very loud, ruckus sex, or probably both.
Both possibly at the same time?
That's your deal. Your character. I just provide you with boy toys, as is my job.
He's an excellent boy toy, thank you.
Although Neva has rejoined you, but Roscoe, you have a collect. You can collect from the Lord of the Storm Spire. He's going to be here for a while. I believe you folks wanted to go grab a bit of something to eat to kind of decompress together once you had all dried off and not been so having everything go to hell. Something you did notice,
Yeah, I don't think everybody made it to the baths necessarily, so
No, the two that were missing.
Roscoe's gonna just like. Roscoe's gonna get dried off, get back to the inn we're staying at, just like get dressed and head down and just like be at the bar in the main tavern room, waiting for everybody else to gather up.
Yeah, I'll probably do the same. Like, go back to the inn and actually put like real clothes on.
Well, you're staying in a house.
Right.
House.
Remember, we're staying in. We could all go. We could have agreed that we're going to insert local bar here.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we are. Yeah. We'll pick a spot. And everybody on the same page. Slap chat, and I'll get there first. Start drinking.
Okay. It is a lively place. It's definitely like a well-traveled tavern. And you see this. There's that kind of general cacophony of patrons talking about stuff. Just loud enough that other people can't really hear each other, but definitely loud enough for you to notice if you're just sitting there. But again, not audible.
Are we at the penultimate post?
You most likely are. Seems to be the premier establishment, and there is a back room that just says reserved. And the staff looks at that room warily, as there seems to be... That's the section no one really wants, except for one elf guy named Bane. He seems to be the one that just sort of takes that. Whoever is back there normally just deals with them. But no one else really wants to go back there. For some reason. But yeah, you're there, Roscoe. There's a litany of other types of folks around, a lot of fae. There's a lot of those, some of the more, not higher level, but definitely lower courtier spring court that are here. Like, there's probably more fae than there usually is. But definitely like the runners and the guards that are sort of small enough to fit in this place and not like centaur-esque people. There are other establishments that are bigger, more suited for them. This place is a little bit smaller, more for kind of two-legged folk. They are, there's a lot of them around, so there's just that cacophony. There's a bartender. His name is Bog, and he's this big old fur bog guy who is just, doing as most bartenders do. He's just kind of hanging out, talking with people, serving up drinks.
Yeah, I would make a point of sitting at the bar. I don't need like a ton of room for myself. I just kind of sidle up to the bar and get a beer.
Yep. He hands you one. So is anyone else joining Roscoe? Are you going to kind of leave him there, drink by himself?
Kiki will probably limp along. She's like officially healed from the last battle, but is still feeling a little tender around the edges. But yeah, she'll shuffle along.
Yeah, I think at this point Tessa's probably starving, so she's going to need some food. Because not only did she have like the battle where she lost like half her health, but she also got hasted at the hot springs. So she could probably eat a whole horse.
Are we just assuming everyone shows up eventually, kind of walks in?
Yeah, kind of, we get up and get dressed and de-raise in a little bit and kind of straggle in.
So what an odd thing is, Tessa, Bosco has come with you, but Thrax is nowhere to be found.
That does seem odd to me. I ask, I look at Bosco and was like, oh, where's Thrax at?
He boofs at you.
Cool.
Yeah, he is a dog. He cannot talk to you.
Cleared that right up.
Unless you had a druid that could talk to animals or some shit.
Well,
if only.
Do you want to talk to him, Neva, or do you want? Because I can just ask him like, let me try a different tactic here. I look at Bosco, like, is everything okay?
Bosco cocks his head at you, and then makes a nervous sound.
Kiki shuffles over and she makes a suggestion. She's like, boof once for yes, twice for no. She tugs on Tessa's sleeve as a suggestion.
Do you know where he is? Given the commands from
there is one booth.
Okay. So I'm thinking that maybe something is like maybe that festering whatever is not completely gone. So I'm actually gonna ask Bosco to take me to him just to make sure.
Okay. This will happen as you take it back. The penalty post is not far from the house, and he sort of leads you for a while, and he's just kind of hopping along. But you see, as he leads you back to the house, and you see that Thrax is sitting on top of the roof, just staring up into the sky.
I'm gonna grab Bosco and kind of hoist him up with me as I land on the roof.
Okay. Thrax, his head turns to recognize that something is there. He looks at both of you and just kind of continues looking back at the sky. And, you know, at this point, it is beginning to move into later evening. The sun is still up, and you can see a few of the first stars of the night, but it has not shifted into the night sky yet. So his wings are still the normal blue.
So I put Bosco down like, hey, are you feeling okay? You're not at dinner.
Thrax, a little star goes, no, I'm sorry, I didn't, I'm fine.
Are you sure? Are you okay? How's your wing?
It's alright, he says. Make an insight check, Tessa.
Can't wait to roll a 3.
A 5.
Oh, no, much better.
Well,
5.
I mean, you rolled a 3.
Yeah, so he sounds fine, but Bosco is very clearly worried about him, and he's making those like dog whimpers of concern.
I'm gonna go over and like sit down next to him, like, and ask him if do you want some company?
I don't want to keep you from dinner. Like, you should really, be with everyone else. I don't want to keep you.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I can get something later. It's no problem.
Aren't you like crazy hungry? Wasn't all you were talking about before?
So she reaches into her cleavage and pulls out a bag of cookies.
I don't know how I keep forgetting about that, he says. As Tessa can probably see from her being an Aloran paladin, like, there is a lot of concern on his face that he is trying to hide, but not doing a very good job of it based on that roll. And a lot of his... There's this body language that suggests he's paying a lot of attention to where that rake came down from the demon, and he seems to be fixated on that. At least that's what his body language is like. Like, he's paying special attention to that. It's sort of like when someone like rolls their ankle and they're sort of not limping as if they're hurt, but they're definitely being a lot more cautious about it.
Does it look weird to me? Like, does it look like it's still poisoned?
Make a perception or a medicine check.
They're both the same.
do. 20. Much. Which one was it? Which one did you roll?
I guess perception or medicine.
Looking at it, you very quickly got rid of the disease that was on him. But now that you're sort of examining it, not just using your paladin heals to get out of there, scars have been reopened. There is new scar tissue on top of old scar tissue now.
Is there anything I could do about that, or is that just scars are just going to be there?
Scars are going to be there. Like, you might be able to help the newer ones, but that old stuff's been there for a long time.
So, I'll say, you look pretty concerned. Is there anything you want to talk about? I've been told I'm a pretty good listener.
Okay, he rolled a 1 and a 2 on a deception check he had disadvantage on. So, because it's Tessa. And he sort of, you see him, his shoulders slump, and he goes, I'm sorry, the demon caught me on my wing. And it hit the spot that that my remember. I don't know if you were around. I know I told Neva this, but a long time ago, I'm the only brother that has wings out of my siblings, and my one brother tried to. I told Neva take feathers, they tried to take more than that.
So she looks aghast at this. Like, it's kind of like that shared empathy when you see another dude get hit in the balls. And she's just like, what an asshole.
Yeah. They wanted it for ritual components or something, and they tried to take it. I killed the guy that was trying to take my wing, and that's one of the reasons I started ranging. Because I don't know if I can go back to Araya.
Wow, that's pretty terrible. I can't even imagine what you went through, but if it helps, I am sympathetic. That's one of like the biggest offenses in my family. One of my uncles was hurt as a kid by some really bad people, and you know, my aunt was able to regrow his wings, but I'm not sure he was ever the same. So if you ever need to like get stuff like that off your chest, you know, I'm here. I mean, you can never really heal from stuff like that, but you know, with a good support system, easier to deal with. Well, that and cookies, and I offer some cookies to him.
He will take one and eat it. And you see that Bosco's kind of sneaking underneath his hand very slowly because you see the snoot pop out. But Thrax doesn't notice, and he's just like, yeah, it would be really, a support system would be good. He says, there's this long, drawn out look. Make another insight check with advantage, Tessa. Hopefully not a 5.
It's 5.
I said with advantage. At a 7.
It's 7. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna look it. Why
Okay.
not?
A 20. Yeah.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
Luckily, again, kind of looking at Bosco. Bosco stops going for the cookie when he says that, and then just sort of lays on him, very sympathetic, like dogs are wont to do. And that keys you in, Tessa, that Thrax really has been alone probably since that happened. Like, he's been around people, and he's not like, you know, he hasn't been overtly melancholy or anything, but like, he's been on his own since then.
I'll ask it. How long ago was it?
I was probably 16, so like, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago. It's hard to keep track. I try not to think about it. It's very depressing, and you know, I got away and I killed that guy, so it's fine. It's not like they're gonna come after me.
Yeah, that must make everything happen today like 10 times worse.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want, like, I'll level with you. I'm scared of Kiki, but I did not want to
Tessa
see
does laugh a little
some fuckbag from the Hells take her. Like, that wasn't going to fucking happen.
Well, I thought you did was really brave, and I think you were pretty much the MVP of the night between that and healing Nikki.
Yeah, she needs to not be in melee range, he says, kind of thinking tactically. We gotta get her a coat or something. Like,
maybe we can throw some like armor plates underneath her giant hoop skirt.
Maybe. Or just make her run away fast. I don't know, something. He says, kind of shifting the conversation to kind of talk about tactics a little bit.
That's, funnily enough, exactly what Nikki needs, is some tactics lessons.
Training montage.
Yeah.
But he does, after you share that laugh a bit, and Nikki does that anime sneeze thing because someone's clearly talking about her in the distance.
Absolutely.
Thrax kind of goes again, yeah, I'm sorry, sis, I just didn't, you know, I don't want to take you away from your friends, and, you know.
It's fine. To be honest, I don't know which if I'm hungrier or more tired, but I could just lay here for a while. And she kind of just like lays back with her head in her hands, just kind of like staring upward. She's not moving.
Bosco proceeds to immediately like lay on your chest, just boof, right there.
I do give him a scratch.
Mm. There's probably about 5 minutes as Thrax doesn't lay down, but just sort of stares at Tessa. And Tessa may not see this between scritching Bosco. You might squitch Roscoe, I don't know. That's up to you two.
Maybe Roscoe's hiding out.
The cloud somewhere.
Yes.
You just see this bramble squirrel in a fucking chimney watching you. He looks at Tessa and, to the audience seeing it, he's waiting. He generally is waiting for you to leave. And then you don't. And make a perception check, Tessa. Because he has not laid next to you.
17.
Okay, he crit. So, Tessa doesn't notice this because you're a little busy with... Bosco's trying to get in between your boobs. Cause that's clearly where food comes from. So,
obviously,
he's trying to get center raid that.
He's trying to get my secrets.
Yeah, and as you're playing with him, Thrax smiles. And it's a very genuine smile because you haven't left. Like, you stayed here with him. And at this, he takes a deep breath. And he gets up and he just sort of spreads his wings. And you can see them start to just very lightly begin a little bit of a shift, Tessa, into their star form, but not quite, because again, sun's still up, and he goes, I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah, you want to go get some food? Pentultimate Post looks pretty good.
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. So, she grabs Bosco, who is just like snoot deep right now, trying to
Yeah, for anyone of you watch this, it would be this corgi just kicking its feet, just
motorboating.
Yeah,
motorboating.
Maximum motorboat.
It's desperately trying to dig down enough to get to where the cookies are, but it just cannot reach, no matter how far it goes.
kind of pull him out. This is little
Before he disappears.
I was like, no, you can't know my secret.
It makes a champagne cork pops sound.
Oh, I was about to say that, but I was trying to figure out if I could make the sound, and I couldn't do it.
Yep.
Oh, that was great.
That's the sound.
Oh, that's the one.
Where's Kiki's soundboard?
Yes.
Oh, right.
And so the two tieflings take flight, and they head off to the penultimate post. So Tess is probably gone for 20-30 minutes by the time the two tieflings arrive with Thrax and the dog in tow. Would the four of you like to do anything? And even now that you've rejoined your friends, you know that something has happened, as Kiki is ruffled, to say certainly the least.
So Neva did know somewhat that something was going to happen because she was told through the Slap chat that they were heading to this fort with Fury, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not entirely surprised that they've come back a little bit singed. But she still does have to put on the mom face of, is there something you'd like to tell me? She's not asking them. She's just got that expression on.
Kiki doesn't have good passive perception, so I don't know if she notices.
He's looking
Are
at
we all
the
kind of
menu.
looking?
My
We all kind of looking at each other who's gonna do this?
my passive's pretty good, so Roscoe definitely looks around and counts heads real quick. Neva, it's just occurring to me, Nikki was just saying that she had something she wanted to talk to you about.
Oh, is that so, Nikki?
Yep. So nobody died.
A strong way to start it. A strong way.
Honestly, that's where I'd stop.
Nobody was even that seriously injured.
Neva raised an eyebrow at that.
Kiki,
And that is a bold
Kiki
faced
raises-
lie, and Neva's pretty confident in that.
Kiki raises an eyebrow.
Well, I look at us. I'm like, well, I mean, we're both we walked here, right? Kiki, like that counts for something.
And she just kind of like shrugs. she's like, you're digging your own holes there.
You're not even getting this.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I should start at the beginning. We got to the fortress and Idri was ready to go in, lightning blazing, but some of us were concerned that there was a bunch of folks that we could see like walking around the ramparts of this fortress and such, and it wasn't entirely clear that they were capable of making their own decisions. Or were under extenuating circumstances. So we, mostly Tessa, convinced Idri to give them a few minutes to try and get as many people out if they wanted to surrender. That went reasonably well, actually, I think. I didn't check in with the ends afterward, but...
In that essentially no one surrendered.
Mostly no one. Yeah. But we tried. Many folks were slain. And then there was a big-ass demon, or devil. Nikki would know, but Robert doesn't. Which manner of fiend was it, Scoot?
Demon.
Okay. There was a big-ass demon that popped out of one of the buildings and got into a big, like, the kind of fight you read about in stories kind of fight with Idri. We did our best to support her. Tessa pretty much single-handedly held off like 100 tieflings. I think it was 4.
It was 4.
Neva's face cracks a little bit at that.
Yes.
But you can say 100 if you want.
This story is there's going to be more and more tieflings every time this is told. I can feel it.
Oh yeah.
It was 85 tieflings.
Eventually managed to... Idri kept that demon from getting back to its plane, and we were actually able to take it down. It took some serious doing, and I mean, I kind of gesture at Kiki and gesture at myself, although I've been healed a fair bit.
Kiki looks at Neva and just goes, Roscoe made deal, big battle, owie. Like that's her field report.
TLDR.
I mean, yeah, actually, that pretty much sums it up. We got the Mechanicus weapons. They're under control. Idri dealt with them. I wasn't in the room where it happened. The room where it happened.
I thoroughly choose to believe that there is an in-universe equivalent of Hamilton where there is a song that we can absolutely cite that as a reference.
Yes.
Neva kind of sits quietly and considers this for a moment. Says, well, you seem to have been adequately healed. By your own report, you comported yourselves admirably. And perhaps you have learned some valuable lessons about the types of engagements that best fit you.
Yeah,
which is to say,
I think so.
Nikki and Kiki, perhaps ranged is your friend.
Well, I didn't initially intend to be that close to the demon. I just kind of came up over the wall and melee happens.
It was fast, real fast. He kind of came out of nowhere.
But
Yes,
no, fair point.
fair
point, though.
This will be the first time that Roscoe actually speaks up during this, for real, and just kind of sets the beard down and actually doesn't look at anybody. I'm picturing us Tessa's not here yet. Thrax isn't here. We haven't maybe got a table. I'm picturing us like sitting at a bar, and there's like we got 3 stools together, and one of us is gonna stand around. Like
I'm there.
so. Oh, did you get here already?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, we got a
Okay,
table now.
then you're there at the bar. All right. So we're at the
Yeah, Neva wouldn't have part of the start to report time until everyone was present.
perfect. So,
Consummate
Roscoe's just
professional.
like looking down at the beer that like half drunk is just like talking to the beer a little bit, saying, "Yes, we learned some tactical lessons, and there are some larger lessons that we are still in the process of learning."
Oh,
And I turn to Tessa. I think I owe you an apology, especially.
What do you owe me an
And
apology
Kiki.
for?
I think I was a little rash with making the deal in the first place. I should have taken into account that you all were going to come along and have my back no matter what, and taken the responsibility of that into account. And I also, once we were in it, should have listened better to your concerns. And I'm sorry.
Well, I really appreciate that, Roscoe. I think that it ended okay, and I think that if you learn something from that, that's the takeaway. I think that's really amazing. So you can look at that that way.
I'm still chewing on it, but what little insight I've gleaned so far is that it's always been, I know I say this all the time, it's always been either just Dad and me, or I've been not a solo act, a subcontractor. I was never in a gang or any one team. I just kind of got pickup games of shenanigans, and I haven't had people that were going to follow me into the fire before, and I think I need to take some time to think about what that means. And I didn't have it yet, and I'm glad everybody's fine. We are. I appreciate you being cool about it, but I still think it's something that needs to be said out loud. So there we go.
Kiki looks at Roscoe and gives her a raspberry.
Which I imagine without lips is probably like a weird kazoo sort of situation.
What's interesting is she can reproduce the sound, but it's just not like she can reproduce someone else making the sound of raspberry. But it wouldn't
It's
be.
like
You're
she's
right. She doesn't have lips.
opening her beak in
Yeah.
the raspberry sound.
That's it. Pretty much. That's it.
Nikki punches Roscoe in the shoulder gently. Hey, dude, character development arc.
Jack leans down to Tess and he's like, "What's a character development? What's she talking about?"
I have no idea. Like, are
Kiki
we in a
starts
play
tapping
right
the
now and
wall.
nobody told me?
Kiki starts tapping the wall. It seems very like opaque or something. She's very confused.
Adjusting the camera angle.
No, leaning into Nikki's freshly discovered past as a fan fiction author.
That's right. All of a sudden, we're all
We're all in fan fiction now, guys.
Nice.
except one
We all have to
poet.
take a level in.
What have I
One poet.
done? What have I
We
done?
all have to take a level in Bard.
Yes.
Yes.
You did tell me about the deal, and Roscoe, I certainly understand why you make it, and really I have no room to fault you for making a deal when I made one of my own for information. Have you spoken to the Lord of the Spire yet?
No, I was I was already in acting rashly mode, so I thought it better to take a bath, circle the wagons, have actually a second beer, and then we'll get going on that tomorrow.
Yeah, so as that happens, you see a bug be right with you, and then you hear the
Thank
tap
you.
getting pulled below you, and you see a badger, like a person that's like a bipedal bat, like a Narnia badger, just kind of like hop up on the stool. Here you go. Puts down a big mug in front of you, and then hops back down, like a little bar back, and continues working around down there.
Bless you.
I didn't sneeze.
I'm a really shitty angel.
Do you
You're just a very good Coke Zero angel. You're just not fully Coke. So food is brought to you. You got a table.
If you'd like, that is a thing we can address tonight. If you'd prefer, it's a thing we can address tomorrow. If you'd like to speak to him alone and hear the information alone, I'd understand. If you'd like us to come with you, that is also fine. You have made the deal. You have carried it out. So it is your choice in this particular matter.
I think everybody has earned the right to hear it at this point. I think
Your
that's
dirty laundry.
certainly fair. Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
instinctively starts to make plates for
maybe.
people and then realizes they probably want to make their own plates, so just makes a plate for herself. And Roscoe, to be clear, when I said that I have also made a deal for information and therefore could not rightly chastise you, I should in fact share with you all some of the information, particularly as at least some of it will pertain to your choice or desire to potentially continue traveling with me or not, and 2, if we do continue traveling together, what we are inclined to do next. Which is to say, I have made a deal for information, and actually the service I've been asked to render in exchange for the information I received is related to you, Tessa.
What?
I've been specifically
She's like
tasked
eating
with.
like a turkey leg.
I've been specifically tasked with
deep
helping
in
you
turkey leg.
find and open that heartway.
Oh yeah, I thought we were gonna do that after we dealt with that hunter guy.
Well, we won't be dealing with that hunter guy per se.
Oh, is he dead?
No, no. He's as you know, he is a former hunter of the Spring Court. Did any of you else have a vision when we were in the Ents underground area, or no? Was that just me?
I think we all did.
You all saw that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Neither
saw
knows
what
what it
happened.
means, but everyone saw it.
You saw that what he did or attempted to do, rather. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was to have been executed for that particular crime. He escaped execution. He is kind of, I guess, a druid fundamentalist would be the best way of putting it, which is to say he objects to the court's interference with avenging nature. He finds the courts too civilized. He thinks the Feywilds should be truly wilds, much like the Everwilds of the Astral Sea, which, if you've never been there, carry on not being there. You don't want to go. He is particularly he's particularly loathes the hunts, which he considers to be the enforcement of unjust and unlawful authority over nature. Apparently, he would particularly like to kill me for being the hunt's master during his time as a hunter. That's the part about, do you want to continue traveling with me or not? I would understand if you'd prefer not to be in his path.
Oh, well,
I've been
definitely
expressly
coming with you.
forbidden by the Lord of my court, Lord Springsong, from pursuing him, likely due to this particular reason. I have not been explicitly forbidden from making myself particularly tasty bait and drawing him to me. We will not, therefore, be hunting Thornvine. He sometimes calls himself the Thorn King. He's a pretentious dick, and we're not calling him that.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to let you fight him by yourself. That's for sure.
I appreciate that, Tessa, and I would still very much like to help you with your Heartway, not just because of the deal that I've made, but also because, well, I'd like to help you with your Heartway. That was our next task anyway.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that, to be quite honest with you. The 4 people that I was fighting had the Seal of Nazarax. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Doji history or not.
Reasonably. The others of our other companions may be less familiar.
They pretty much represent the worst part of our history, and I've seen them twice where they shouldn't be. So I don't know what we're going to find when we go to that Heartway.
Well, it's better
In
for us to be
fairness,
braced
everybody
for
should know
a.
that.
It's better for us to be braced for a potentially difficult situation, I suppose. I am undeterred from helping you pursue that goal.
Cool. Then we'll do both things together. And
Excellent.
she will cheers with her gigantic beer mug.
I will toast to that.
Nikki raises her glass.
Roscoe's new mug is up. Yeah.
Kiki gives a thumbs up.
Thrax joins in and Bosco moves.
Well, let's eat then.
Let's eat then. We'll plan to speak with the Lord of the Storm Spire, I suppose, tomorrow, Roscoe.
Perfect.
That's your preference. And once this first oak business is resolved, which it should be resolved much more quickly now, Queen Titania has shown up. It should be. They think there may have been some meddling, incitement. Basically, that these lower courts may have been kind of incited by powers which have a vested interest in their rabble rousing. And this is not a political allegory in any way, shape, or form.
Rabble, 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 rabble.
Nope. You folks eat. It's generous portions here, although as you're eating at one point a cow falls from the ceiling, like from a vent above you, like a very tiny miniature one. It just kind of pops on the, as if it's been like walking through it and just fell through a grate, and it hits. And you can see it has a little bow tie on it. It just kind of waves at you and then hops off the table and goes into that back room that's marked reserve.
Neva looks very concerned about this because she's wondering if there is a certain individual potentially following this cow.
Y'all saw that, right?
Am I on drugs? I'm like looking at my...
Nikki is also looking confused at her beer.
No, you're not.
Strange things happen in the Feywilds, folks. Strange
things. There's a... She's not actually a professor.
She does teach one class.
Yes, she's the twerking.
She teaches twerking 101.
I suppose she's an adjunct professor. We'll go with that. There's an adjunct professor who occupies the vents.
That's a good word for it. Occupies.
We're kind of...
Yeah, the rest
That's
of the
the best
meal...
way of explaining it, honestly.
Yeah. The rest of the meal goes off without tiny animals falling out of vents. And you make your way, you finish your meal, you pay the bill, you head out into the town, and you can do as you wish. You can walk around, you can head back to sleep and prepare for meeting with the Lord of the Storm Spire tomorrow. Whatever you'd prefer.
Is there a bookstore?
Yeah.
There is.
Would it be open at this hour of the time?
You
Probably.
are... Yeah, it's not like super, super late. It's probably like 7 or 8 p.m. at this point. Although now, looking that it is now fully night, you can see Thrax's wings have changed to their sort of starry form, and he's getting a lot of looks from the people around town. Like, even in this zany place, this is not something they have seen before.
Yeah, I would just like to go, if we have time and we're not going to interrogate a storm until tomorrow.
Yeah, the bookshop's
I
name
would
is
just be
Artifact
looking-
or Artifiction, by the way.
Artifact or God damn.
Everything's
Uh,
sorry.
Nice.
No,
No, you're
that's
not.
joyous.
No, she's not.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, I would like to go there if that's all right. Nobody else has anywhere else they want to be. I mean, anyone's welcome. Also, you don't have to come to the.
I think Nikki's probably also going to go shopping, but to go use her gift card.
Okay.
They're definitely open.
Yeah, they are. I don't know if they close.
Oh, there's no way.
Yeah, Nikki, you will find dang near will anything at that place that you can probably conceive of. So I don't know if you want to do that live or if you want to message me what you're looking for later.
I'll just DM you. We can do that off screen.
Yep. Will, is there anything that Roscoe is looking for as far as books go?
Yes, but it's not. I have an idea, but I think I would need to talk it out. I can't tell. I don't really have a good answer to that. if that
Okay,
makes
so
sense.
can we do that off screen, or do you need to do that?
Sure.
Right here? Okay.
No, sure. Yeah, we'll do it.
With all your other fucking contraptions, you're really, I can't wait to see what this is.
I know I have a very small lever to pull, but being able to pull at least one lever that sends fear back in your direction instead of fear coming this direction is very empowering.
I'm glad.
It's been cultivated, it was intentional, but it is nice to see it work.
That's good. So we'll figure that out. So you folks head back.
Sure.
Although Tessa, Thrax does ask you to meet him on the roof.
I will do so.
Okay, I would like the rest of you to make perception or insight checks, please. Whichever you would prefer.
Perception or insight, you
Perception or
said?
insight.
24 for Neva.
Okay, no, they're both the same.
And a
Oh,
23
Nikki.
insight from Nikki.
Crit.
Oh shit!
Crit.
Kiki crit.
Kiki got
crits,
it.
a
Wow.
24. It's weird that a crit is still not higher than Neva's.
That's not.
Fucking Neva.
Yeah.
That tracks.
This is what Neva does.
Yeah. So
This
Roscoe,
is
Brings
the
him to notice
machine you
things.
built.
whatever that book is, you're you're pretty into it, right? You've taken your time
Perfect.
to kind of head into the house and start thumbing through that. The rest of you,
Roscoe doesn't know it, but the romance novel that she's picked up is in fact a fan fiction of two wizards written by Nikki.
Oh my god.
Under a
Yes.
pseudonym. Let's say you see me
They've
with a
been
stack
serialized
of
and published
3
as
books.
novels.
See me with
Oh,
a stack
no.
of 3 books. At least one of them is a bound copy of
from like
one
Solid
of
Nick
Nikki's works.
or something like Nick backwards. All right.
Oh
So
no.
for those of you that have crit, while you were split up in the town for a little bit, just kind of like, window shopping on your way back, you two, Nikki and Kiki, have heard Brax talking to himself, trying to psych himself up to do something. He's like, it's fine, you can do this. He's definitely shopping as he's kind of looking around, and you do see him pick up a pair of gauntlets, greaves, like for your arm, like they get that run from like palm to elbow, and they're pretty large, and like they're heavy armor. So like he doesn't wear that. Like he has decent armor on, but this doesn't seem to go with what his aesthetic is.
Are the two of us who crit, are we together? Or are we seeing this?
You two are together.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Neva, you see this as well. You hear him, but you don't see him buy anything. The other two do.
Okay.
But so Roscoe's in the store. Tessa's somewhere else with Bosco. You two, Thrax kind of moved off, and you two just kind of followed him. Like you just, you're walking together. And you just happen to go with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you two see him very.
Oh, the classic goodbye, and then we walk the same way.
Yeah. But you see him buying
Got
these
it.
things and talking to himself like, it'll be fine. No, this will be good, and then I'll do that, and then that'll be okay. Okay. And he hasn't noticed you.
Greaves. Do they hypothetically look like they would fit Tessa?
Yeah. Like you see this, there's an infinity symbol on them, which Nikki would probably know to be the Aloran symbol.
Ooh,
Are
okay.
not infinity gauntlets?
Oh my god.
No, not technically.
Kiki would just walk up to Thrax. She perceives what's going on, but she's not doesn't feel socially awkward about it.
Okay.
So she'd just be like,
the
hi.
camera focuses into the background, and Nikki elbows the air next to her and goes, "Hey, did you look?" Oh.
Yeah.
Off.
I love
Thrax
Kiki.
took a bullet for Kiki, and she feels very, very sort of bound to him, and she actually genuinely cares about him. And so she just walks up. She goes, "Hi."
Yeah. Oh. And he
She doesn't know that he's scared of her.
No.
I don't think she.
and this is not I'm terrified of you. This is he was really focused on these gauntlets, and then something got his attention. He's like, oh, Kiki, thank God. Okay, it's just you. Oh, hi.
Shopping? She just.
And he looks down at the gauntlets, and he's like, yes. And he no, he's a dumb anime boy, so he's gonna try to get out of this. He's like, yeah, so I'm just buying some armor, figured, while we're in town, it's a good smith.
Nice. She would probably know the word for greaves, so she'd probably be like, "Nice greaves."
No,
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
do you think they'll look good on me?
So now he's asked her an actual question. So Kiki has gone into calculating mode, right? And she looks at them, and she looks at his armor, and she's like, "Bit heavy?" Question mark? She
They're
kind of gestures at the rest of what he's wearing.
weighted training clothes, he says, which is, it's a lie. This is, why would he wear these?
Mhm. Kiki kind of puts her beak up and she goes, "Bullshit."
Oh
She's
my
not
God.
being 1 ounce mean, not 1 ounce
Yeah.
mean at all. But she's just giving him a look like.
Oh my god, Kiki.
Yeah, there's a really big exhale, and he's like, yeah, you're really smart. You probably know what I'm doing.
Kiki goes, "Buying greaves?"
Yes.
She nods yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, you're buying greaves. Yeah. Yes, I'm buying greaves. And he looks for the first time over and sees Nikki, who's watching all of this, and he's just like, oh, fuck.
So now Kiki,
Now
why nervous?
that he's
Why nervous?
noticed me.
Yep.
Yeah, she's like, "Why nervous?" She's like, "What's the big deal?"
And he's trying to find words, but he's just really flustered. He's embarrassed. There's some red shining through his normally kind of darker blue skin.
Hey, Thraxy.
He's purple.
Yeah, his purple skin. Hey,
Those for
Nick.
Tesla? Because if so, great choice. I think she'll like those.
Yes,
Yes.
he says, just giving up on lying entirely. Yeah, she did. We had a really good talk before, and I don't know if she knows, but she said some things to me that really hit home, so I wanted to do something for her, and I figured she likes armor.
I pat him on the arm I say, oh, she has absolutely no idea, but it's gonna go over great.
Oh,
Vote of
like
confidence. Love it.
so that's a yes to do it or a she does.
Oh,
it?
absolutely. No, she's gonna love those. You're gonna do great. Like seriously, you're gonna do good.
Okay. So he looks down to Kiki and he's like, I'm.
Kiki nods encouragingly. Like,
Okay. Because there's a part of him that's like, do I tell the bird person I'm giving a shiny to try to get a mate, or is that racist? Like he's in his head. He's like, I don't know if that's a very good way to explain this.
Okay,
But that's just like a fucking horrible thing to say. Like,
Kiki doesn't speak for all kinkus.
mhm.
She actually would think it was endearing because shiny.
Yeah.
Like she's just
Yeah,
she's like, why
She's
would
like,
you-
yeah, that's a great fucking strategy.
A+.
God.
Can't go wrong there.
You don't have decorative feathers, motherfucker. You got to make up for that.
Yeah, like he
This
always.
bitch can't even preen.
I mean, he does in fact have very decorative feathers, though.
He does.
That is
Only
true.
at night. So he does smile with both. He does
Oh, man.
smile at both of you, and he's like, "I'm very happy to have found you folks. Thank you for allowing me to stay."
Kiki just sort of like.
Well, thanks for
touches his
sticking
arm.
around, man.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
So
do
Kiki,
Good.
yeah, okay, so yeah, no, Kiki's just sort of like, yes, you know,
Mm.
be nice, Tessa. She kind of pats his arm a little bit, like she's like, yeah, no, why would you not do the thing? She doesn't understand these like
Yeah.
emotions, like she's like,
These
just do the
human
thing.
things like emotions. And
Like seriously, she's like, what the hell?
Kiki,
Scared of doing the thing, just do the thing. It's a good thing.
can I ask you
Yeah.
one question, Kiki?
Yes.
Why is Tessa bad at doors? Did something happen before I got here?
Oh, Kiki's like, Tessa, big girl, doors not always big, Tessa strong, big heart, brain, and she kind of just makes that, yeah, and then she nods. She just sort of nods, like, yeah, you know, she's Tessa, and then she nods like that's sufficient explanation.
He's like,
In fact, it
Okay.
is.
"Thank you," and he walks with you back to the house, where he sees you, like, probably feeding Bosco or something. I don't know what you're up to.
I'm probably feeding him something I shouldn't be feeding him.
Yeah.
Because he told me he didn't eat dinner. So
Even though you watched him eat dinner at the penultimate post.
it's very convincing.
So Thrax walks over to you, Tessa, and he presents you with like a bag with the gauntlets.
Oh, what's
in it.
this?
Something for you.
Oh, that's awfully nice.
Mhm.
And I reach into the bag and I pull them out. And like, oh, these are Lauren. This is amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. Look, Tessa, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I really like you. I would like to get to know you better as a individual person. And he's just like the rest of you. Like he's so focused on this, he has not realized the rest of you are in the house, like watching. Like you're all in the living room as he just decides to do this.
I'm
Nick-
assuming we're all eating popcorn.
Nikki's eyes are definitely like anime sparkling. Like she's so excited.
All right, I'm gonna have to do insider perception
For what he's doing,
for if I'm picking up what he's asking.
do an insight with a with advantage because you got that other one before.
Also because Neva has literally told you he is interested in you in that particular way.
I know, but like mentioned before, Tessa doesn't like to make assumptions and she doesn't want to get her hopes up. But she
Right.
did get a 16.
Yeah, so Thrax he's bumbling through his words. He's like, look, I think you're awesome. I really like you. I'd like to see if this goes anywhere. We don't have to go fast. You know, I mean, we've already killed a bunch of people together, so like, there's that. You know, we went over that hurdle.
Truly the most romantic thing.
Yeah, so I don't know what you... If you're down for a great, if not, that's okay. Like, you know.
We can kill more people
Yeah, like, no,
together.
like,
I
we
mean,
won't
like,
stop killing people.
you know.
Yeah.
not like a lot at once. I mean, you know, here and there.
So internally, Tessa is like freaking out. She's like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, it's finally happening! I'm finally gonna get a boyfriend! Oh my god, oh my god!" Wait, but on the outside, she's like, "Yeah, yeah,
Make a performance check, Tessa, and I would like everyone else to make an insight check.
What was my performance? My performance is not terrible."
Okay, so the goal to beat is 17, folks. Okay,
22.
Neva,
unsurprisingly.
Okay. Everyone but Neva sees Tessa as like having it together, and you don't see any of that internal, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But Neva, you have seen too many freshmen to not see this. You're like, oh, I know where this is going. So I'm sorry. What do you say to Thrax now that everyone's is watching it?
So, I said, yeah, absolutely. I like you a lot too. I feel the same way.
Okay. And Thrax just he seems a little dumbfounded by this. Goes, okay, I didn't have a plan. I didn't think that would happen, so I didn't have a plan for now.
So from the living room, you guys are absolutely not paying attention to this, but from the living room, Neva calls over. The college has some really lovely gardens where you could walk in for some private space.
And everybody else is just like sitting on the couch.
Everyone is
Yeah, we're sitting on the couch
just
eating popcorn,
done
watching
this
this shit.
in front of like everyone got back. Everyone's just like hanging out in the living room, and Thrax just did it. Like he got back with Nikki and Kiki as soon as he walked in the door. He just went for it. So like Roscoe and Eve are just sitting there like.
Roscoe, yeah, has the book out, but is absolutely just like straight eyes immediately above the book, concealing once the same smirk that was practiced back on the sand skiff. Turns out, changing the rest of my physical identity, it's not made me enjoy smirks any less. Still my favorite face.
Oh, and then so at Neva's suggestion, he goes, okay, so do you want to go check out those gardens? I'm sure there's flowers there.
Sure, let's go.
Okay. Do you want to bring Bosco?
Bosco's his own dog. He can decide what he wants to do.
He's passed out. He's eaten so much. He's just like he's in the middle of the bed is his right, but he's passed out.
All right, well, that answers the question.
Yeah. Can one of you make sure he doesn't die from food coma?
Druid, he'll be fine.
Cool. Thank you. And the two tieflings head off.
Basically, Neva's just agreed to babysit so y'all can have a date.
I mean, that track.
Yep. The night carries on. The two tieflings eventually come back. Everyone beds down for the night, and morning comes. As today is the day that Roscoe perhaps needs to talk to the Lord of the Storm Spire.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so would you like to head there, Will?
Yeah, let's go. And I would say is like we're having breakfast and getting ourselves sorted. Nobody has to come. Everyone is including Thrax, is welcome to join if they would like. But I would especially like. I would make it clear that I would appreciate if Neva could be there.
Yeah, Neva will absolutely be there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I want to see this.
Yep. So you make your way to. He's staying in the grounds of Castle Haven because he is like a high-ranking Fae. But he has taken one of the higher points. And they are expecting you. So the Storm Court guards allow you in, and you see that he is on a balcony looking into the northern sky. As he hears it open, he's like, Roscoe, I'm so happy to see you and your merry band with a professor. Neva, I didn't know you knew this raggle-tag.
Yes.
Well, Roscoe.
She keeps us from getting in trouble, which would explain the actions in the last 24 hours when we were missing her.
It would seem that way. Mother-heading mortals, are we?
They're not quite my ducklings, no.
Very well. I believe we have a bargain to finish, though, Barrack's daughter.
I would very much appreciate that, Your Lordship.
If you would hold on, and he invites you to come out to the balcony, and everyone else. You do see a certain Fury is standing there with him, like on the balcony, sort of waiting for this.
Are you going to make me have conversations with myself, Scoot?
No.
Good.
But
Scoot's not.
He's going to need an interpreter once he summons this.
Oh, right. Yeah, so Idri is the storm interpreter. Got it.
So you see this Lord of the Storm Court rise up, much like Idri has. Like you've seen when she lifted off to cast a whole shitload of lightning. He does the same thing. And you see his right hand raise, and from each of his fingers, lightning arcs out into the sky and just goes. Just ripples through. And he comes back down to the floor. He goes, "Join me, Roscoe."
Right, pop right up.
Okay, now what do you remember of the story of the storm you seek?
So I pull out again that like very worn, faded, almost like sweat-stained leather-bound journal with pages and start flipping through, and the pieces I remember, I have more details about what was happening than necessarily the storm itself. All Dad has shared, and Will doesn't know this, but Scoot is going to plant this in his world where geographically appropriate. It was a relatively large sailing ship, like masted sailing ship, that was primarily a passenger vessel. There is some conflicting information if it was like setting up a colony of some kind, but that's not confirmed one way or the other. Dad didn't know that. And there was someone, we think maybe a young woman, but again, we don't know the details. That could be wrong. Who was on that boat that Dad was supposed to protect. Somebody on that boat. Our best guess is there was some young woman, we don't even know a name, description. And for the first time in a literal millennia, Dad was not able to successfully guard the crossing. Something happened in that storm that he couldn't see the boat. He lost track of the boat. And when that weird patch of storm that he couldn't see through passed, all he saw was wreckage. So that's what we know. And then Scoot inserting location.
So you give him the sort of the details that you have, and he nods.
So Idri's going to make a suggestion. So the description is a little bit rough to go by, and storms don't know people by descriptions like that exactly. But you said you have like a pact bond with your dad, or like you have sort of his kind of that kind of signature. Storms recognize things like that because it's energy, it's power. That's how they function. So like we might have an easier time helping find the right storm using you as kind of the anchor for it.
Okay. So Roscoe, you see like a little crackle of energy, and I have to imagine just in the presence of the Storm Lord, some of that crackle is kind of happening all the time somewhere.
Yeah, you feel you're feeding off of him a little bit. Like it's very similar energy to you, so it's like your wings haven't popped, but like they're
no, but I am now like actively popping my wings, and I imagine it like normally it takes like a beat to like get them out there. They kind of stretch out, and this time it's just like boom, like fast, hard.
So you see the Lord of the Storm reach his hand out to you, and he instructs you to take it.
Yeah.
grab it, and you feel this rush of electricity run through the Lord's arm into you, but it doesn't hurt you. Like, you just feel, it feels energizing. It feels just, it's running around you. It's very stimulating. And then it comes out through him and then out all of his digits again. Except one of the bolts is the same color as your wings. It's different from the others. The sort of white lightning that normally comes out, there's a tinge to it that you can notice and that Idri would notice as well. The rest of you are just seeing flashes and hearing cracks and booms. And after a few moments, like, he stays up there, like, and you have ascended with him, and Idri is also lifted off as well. After probably 5 minutes, you see a storm front approach you. A big storm front.
And I'm going to say Roscoe starts looking around because in normal circumstances, I can only keep my wings out for a minute. But I'm seeing that with his kind of rippling through, I'm like, oh, I might even say out loud while we're waiting for the storm to come in, I normally can't keep it up this long.
Idri is very much focused on, like, keeping everybody aloft, but she is trying very, very hard to be professional right now, and you're not helping.
Yep. So this huge, gray, angry, grumpy storm just comes rolling, like one of those summer ones that just blows over like ancient oaks, doesn't give a shit.
It's the rhino from James the Giant Peach. It's the rhino storm.
Not that angry, but definitely just like an old, blustery, powerful storm that doesn't give a shit. But it rolls up and it has heeded the Lord's summons. And Idri, you can hear it talking to you. Or the sort of communication it does is sort of like feelings and power and bolts. But the rest of you just hear this thing just move in and then just stop. And like rain is pouring down upon the city, and there's, lightning has not ripped out, but you can hear the thunder as, again, like light pre-storm rain is kind of coming down. And Roscoe, you can you feel like you can hear it. There's a voice in the thunder. You can't quite make out what it's saying, but it's not just regular random claps. It is responding to these two people as Idri and the Stormlord like look at it, and like the Stormlord talks a couple of times and asks its name, and it gives it, it rumbles back, but you swear you can hear this hint of a voice.
Seeing like the oldness, I'm almost, this storm is almost giving me like lion vibes, where it's like, I'm the boss, I am a predator, I am this powerful muscled thing. It is dawning on Roscoe, and I turn to Idri and just go, I bet something like this would remember and be pissed that somebody messed with it. Can you ask it about times where somebody inserted, I don't know, you might know better. I think it was almost like a fake storm, a fake obscuring in its territory, in its storm as it was doing its thing, that clouded my dad's vision. It might remember that.
Idri, would you like to try to talk to the storm?
We will talk to the storm on his behalf, yes.
Okay. As you relate that, it again, you folks just hear this constant rumbling of thunder, and even the rest of you can kind of tell now. Like, again, this isn't just claps; it is talking to Idri and the other two people. Although you cannot understand it because it's not a language; it's another form of communication is happening, something far more primal. Idri, it tells you its name is I have to name a storm now. Its name is Borv. That's what it calls itself. And it remembers, like it you can feel its gaze, you can feel the storm's gaze as much as it kind of has when its consciousness very focused on Roscoe. And it remembers that, and it when it speaks with you, it refers to Roscoe as child of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
But the way it begins to he doesn't mean the ocean. Or well, they don't mean the ocean. It's a storm.
Oh.
It's a gender.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because it says child. They talk about this is sire of a child of the sea above, which you would know would
Yes.
be the astral sea.
The astral sea, yes.
Yeah. Where is this one's sire?
Guarding on the mortal plane currently?
No,
No?
it is. This one's sire was wronged during
Yes.
my tempest.
We seek information on that wronging.
Yeah. And the storm remembers, because this was, again, it's trying to, this thing crosses planes, so it's thinking.
Buffering. Buffering.
wind. It looks, again, it's just, its gaze is, even though, like, they normally would address you or the Lord of the Stormcourt, its gaze is just on Roscoe, and it goes, wronged by star and sky was the sire.
Did he say star and or star in?
Star and sky.
Okay. Which? Who?
And it's thinking, because it's
One or many?
being like the sire came from stars, with power of star, blessing of stars. Wronged. Wrong stormed kin.
How interfered? How disrupted?
Blinded. Tricked. Moved away. Bamboozled.
Tricked
Plans above.
to look elsewhere?
Took from Stormkin. And it keeps referring to Roscoe's dad as Stormkin. You might, as a Plains Warden, like Angels of Storms and stuff, like Roscoe's dad is probably like, these storms may not talk to it like you do, but they do probably share a connection with like Aasimar that are that connected to storms like that.
Took what? Took who?
Took tree float. Full
Yes.
of beings.
Took all or some?
Sent to deep.
All gone.
All gone. There was something there that stars wanted gone.
Something or someone?
Mortal being of flesh.
Do you know why?
Offended stars against stars' plan. Winged being made of start with wings shined like night sky came. Destroyed log. Blinded Stormkin.
Neva relays all of this to
Idri.
Roscoe. Pardon me, Idri. Who am I playing right now? Idri relays all of this to Roscoe. and explains kind of what she's asked so far, and asks, "Is there anything else you'd like me to ask?"
Processing.
Yes. What is will of this? That's progeny. It would probably call Roscoe.
Oh, so I was asking if Roscoe wants me to ask anything else, but I can also, if the Storm wants me to ask Roscoe something, I can do that too. I will offer that to both of them. Does the Storm want something asked of Roscoe? Does Roscoe want something asked of the Storm?
Remember that besides like grilling my dad over and over again about what he remembers, this is Roscoe's first real lead ever. So this was just like a brickload of dump of, oh my god, like I'm gonna be Charlie Day with like the string, and
Who is Pepe Sylvia?
Finally, all makes. Yeah, I just found my Pepe Sylvia, right?
And Roscoe, it wants to know what you would like to do.
What I would like to do,
So the Storm is going to ask Idri, does progeny wish to ascend?
You mean and she kind of points to herself and the Lord of the Storm Spire.
No.
Become Stormkin?
No. Well, and it not like you, not like them. Ascend like Sire, or begin gathering to ascend like Sire. In Storm Talk that means like the Storm has to gather. Storm has to gather first. It won't make him an angel. It
right.
Make her an
angel. If he wants to begin that journey.
Yeah.
Idri relays this.
So thinking, and you saw some of this when we went through Sigil, that like Roscoe does not care for most angels, but was just told that it was an angel who is responsible for what happened. Roscoe is the kind of person who is always trying to work the angles a little bit, realizing I might need a little more juice by the finish line of this journey. So I will say yes.
Do you relay that, Idri?
I relay that.
The rest of you, who are kind of only hearing half this conversation, like whatever is being spoken out loud by Idri or Roscoe, you just hear Idri say yes, and you see in the clouds of this storm, just lightning is just bouncing, crackling back and forth, like when you see it when you're in a plane, and then it arcs out and slams into Roscoe. Unlike the Lord of the Storm Spire, Roscoe, this hurts. This is an incredible amount of energy that is in through you and throws you up against a wall, and you're just being electrocuted at this point. Your body is moving and shaking, and you hit the ground on your, you're alive. You're on your kind of hands and knees as the air finally, as you're able to bring it back in. The rest of you notice that Roscoe's wings, which have been this kind of ethereal, made of sort of storm energy, begin to solidify. And in a flash, there are these pristine, angelic wings that are tinted a little blue, not like Thrax. But the feathers have these blue tips on them, and there's a little bit of lightning running around them every now and again.
Yes.
And then that dissipates.
Hell yes.
As Roscoe, you're just there, and you feel a new weight on your shoulders and your back that was not there before. Because it's very real and heavy now.
In more ways than one.
Yep. And the storm, Idri seems very pleased with itself, as it thinks it has done a good thing, and it enjoys what it's done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Idri doesn't entirely disagree.
The storm informs Idri that the progeny may have to battle the stars. Or it's looking for the word. You know, it's having a hard time relaying it. They always have a hard time relaying information to you because it has to use language. Which
Like, language is annoying when you are a thing composed of storm energy.
Yeah. The Archon, the Scion, that which came from above, from the sea above, and conflict with the moon. The skies are ours. It says looking at you as if you understand what that means.
Yeah.
Stars do not belong here. This is our realm. Progeny will help keep it that way. And it seems like it believes it has made some sort of deal with Roscoe.
So, Idri would kind of relay this, and then as further explanation, say, have you heard of the Astral Accords?
I mean, I've heard of them. I couldn't quote them to you. I'm sure those words would have come up around Dad, but I don't really.
Functionally, this plane, the plane you were born on, belongs to mortals. It is for mortals. It is not for others. On rare occasions, beings from other planes may go there, but it requires balance. It means that mortals must be able to go to other planes as well. Other planes are not allowed to interfere on that plane except for very limited circumstances.
Or if they're invited.
And this was not a circumstance under which they should have been able to interfere. The storm, like me, wards the planes. It keeps that which belongs on one plane on that plane. It prevents that which does not belong on a plane from being there. It is angry because someone breached that. And functionally, the storm has just brought you in to be a plains warden of sorts.
A deputy, not a sheriff yet.
Yes.
You're in the academy.
We may yet become colleagues.
Yeah. Well,
there is nothing we'll make a deal with.
Yeah. Actual, force of nature was on my bingo card for things to make deals with. I'm glad I can check that off. Well, I'll do what I can, which right now isn't much, and just kind of flex the wings. But
well, the storm will be able to find you now. You're marked by the storm. It can find you. In time, you'll learn how to communicate with him.
Thank you, Idri.
You're welcome.
And as the storm begins to move off, because it needs to, Roscoe, you swear you hear the voice that maybe Idri had been hearing. And it says, "Find the fallen stars. Find the three, and remove them." And then it...
Yo, out of
it
character,
very
it
quickly
really
moves
sounds
on.
like I'm gonna have to kill Thrax. That's what I'm hearing.
Sure
I'm
does.
gonna make that assumption.
And the storm moves off. Neva is most likely the only one with a passive perception to see this. Neva, you notice that on one of the rooftops is a black leather clad rogue that has watched all of this happen. And you catch them as they just sort of hop down and move off into the various alleyways of the town.
Does this rogue have very bright red hair?
No.
I'm a little worried. It's also not a dog?
It is not a dog.
Hmm.
It's a bipedal creature. Yep. The rest of you can see that as that storm moves off, that like Roscoe still has like a little bit of steam coming off her. Like as it reaches his... She was hit by a lot of lightning, and Tessa, she should be dead. Like, you don't...
Tessa's very concerned. She saw like Roscoe get hit by lightning, but it happened so quick, and then she kind of came up and now suddenly wings. So she would definitely go over and like see what's going on if she feels okay.
Yeah, shaken, but can a person be shaken and steadier at the same time? I'm that feeling.
Absolutely.
Nature will rather do that to you. Often. What... You've made a deal, I assume.
I have... The Stormlord offered to get the storm here, but I think the price for actually getting answers was a connection. It's hard to read the fine print
I did not forbid you from making any deals ever. I just told you maybe don't make them with Fae. The storm is not Fae. You have not broken
Oh, no.
it.
No, I'm not. I apologize. I'm not being cagey. I think some actor connection was forged here, but I think it's one of those things that you've got to feel out the edges living with it a little bit, if that makes sense.
Fair. In time, if you'd like to discuss what you learned with us, we're here. If you would prefer to keep it to yourself for a time, I understand that this means a great deal to you, and why.
Yeah, Roscoe looks super, perhaps the meaning of the word. There's a frazzled look on her face. She has been actively frazzled, but it's more like, oh my god, I have to like commit all this stuff to memory, to the point where like even now as the rain is starting to fade away with the storm leaving, gets the notebook out and is like furiously trying to jot stuff down and just
there's a functional umbrella over you. You're fine.
That's right. Start putting like things down. Definitely, like, we're gonna talk about this, but I just gotta I gotta chew it a little bit. I gotta chew it.
That's fair.
As this happened, a very surly pug dog kind of kicks open the door and just begins screaming at the Lord of the Storm Spire about summoning a fucking storm in the middle of the town. And the Lord of the Storm Spire just kind of... Is there anything else I can do with you? I have to deal with a very angry civil servant.
No, but I said it before, but I don't know if I can say how much this means to me. I am incredibly, incredibly grateful. I know this, I earned my keep here, but that doesn't matter. I'm so grateful.
And the Lord of the Storm Spire comes very close to you, Roscoe, and goes, since the advent of this place, he gestures around him, some of us have begun to understand the value in mortals and having them as allies. I hope I've made one today.
A lifelong friend.
Good. And there's a very big smile on his face, which is probably slightly concerning to Neva. But not malicious, but like sort of, I've made an investment that I'm very, very happy about. Now, if you will excuse me, I have to deal with a very angry, and a bottle is chucked at this guy's head as Pug demands his attention. The guards will see you out. It was a pleasure meeting all of you.
We get out.
Yep. So you folks head out. Is there anything else I would like to do in the town before I usher you out of the Feywilds?
Not that I can think of.
Nope. Neva's not looking to do anything else here.
Right. So within as you're coming out, you see this beautiful woman dressed in the fashion of the Winter Court with these large gossamer wings, which Neva knows is Titania, the queen of the Fey Courts. And she's passing by you. She nods to Neva as she heads towards the sort of meeting chambers where this matter with the oak is being decided. Trailing her is this very large minotaur in golden armor, who seems to be listening as she's talking with him, and he, nods politely to you but doesn't pay a whole lot of attention. Neva, make a perception check, please, with disadvantage. 31.
Jesus.
And a
Oh.
fail!
Alright, I'm spending a point of luck because I'm not crit failing this shit. 28. Fuck you, Scoot.
Neva notices a rogue, smaller sort of human being come up to the Minotaur and pass him a note very, very quickly. The person sort of bumps into him and he's like, "Oh, don't, no, my apologies." Like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." But you see the note that gets passed into his very large hand as he quickly reads it, and then you see him. He continues to sort of walk with Titania, but he looks back at Roscoe and takes him. And none of the rest of you notice this. It's only Neva's as you're moving out, a lot's been happening. Neva will. He takes a moment to take stock of Roscoe and then continues moving with Titania.
Neva's going to keep in mind that the Golden Legion now knows what Roscoe looks like.
Within a matter of a few days, the matter is settled, as a lot of what Neva had told you eventually comes out, and it is held by ruling of Queen Titania that the oak will remain neutral and for everyone, as no one party can claim the first oak. That's not how things are going to work here. Eventually, you folks finish up. You folks see, Thrax is now spending always sort of at Tessa's side. Not annoyingly so, but definitely, spends a lot of time with her as you folks head out of the Feywilds. There is a gate to Thunderblade if you wish to take it that you may go through.
Did the people at the skiff just go back to Thunderblade?
Yeah, once you didn't come out, they just went back to Thunderblade.
All right, because I feel like we kind of
Dead.
left them there for
They're all dead.
If we had left the meter running, that would
yeah,
be
Yeah.
crazy expensive.
Yeah, they were most likely informed by those Fey people that you found, and you did tell them, like, this is where we're going. You get your gax, you head back, and you were placed outside the city, at a portal near outside the city, like one of the Fey gates that is there. But again, it's not super close, but it is the closest one to Thunderblade. There you head out, you head up to the city, you check in to sort of decompress from everything that happened in the wilds. But a very odd thing happens next. Messengers come for Nikki and Roscoe. And
Hello?
there's a very like sort of legal, like a lawyery looking person coming for. Excuse me, I'm looking for a Nikki Docksborn. Is there a Nikki Docksborn here?
Speaking.
Are you Nikki Docksborn?
That's me.
Okay. And he hands you a paper. He hands you a scroll.
Thanks.
Right.
It is a deed to land and mansion.
What's this?
It's your inheritance. A distant relative of yours left this to you in their will. Remember the card, Rob?
What? What? No.
Apparently, you are a very distant relation from a lady Quillback, and she frankly does not like most of her current relatives, and she left a whole manor home to you.
This is not a thing that happens to real people. Who are you?
Oh, I am your. There's a lot of greats in this. There's a couple. I'm her attorney, her legal counsel.
Nikki, are you opening this in front of Neva?
Yeah, they found you like in the tavern. Like this person's just been looking for somebody.
Neva tells you he is absolutely telling you the truth.
Okay. Mr. Attorney, what do I do with where is this?
Your lands are currently in the north of Doshnaral.
Good food.
It's not a very large estate, but it is. And why don't? It's not in Dosh. It's sort of on the borderlands of the mountains to the north. But you do have a little bit goes into the old lands that used to be controlled by Antara up until the Civil War and the purging and such.
Is it? Huh.
Yeah. Well, in case you're wondering, you own the land, but it's within a smaller nation that was formed after the Tory lost control of the northern mountains they had. Technically your liege lord is a woman by the name of Roscoe Barrick's daughter.
I have No, this is.
I'm sorry.
Eva, are you in on this?
Perdone, a lord. What did you say?
Yes. Well.
Oh my god.
I guess, lady, Nikki. I don't know your surname. I believe it's Docksborn, but I know that's a common one. I don't know if you wish to change that. If you wish to keep that's up to you, my good madam. Technically, Lady Barrick's daughter is the liege lord of. It's a small country territory. It's still in the process. It's a long process to get all that worked back out, but yeah, that is technically your liege lord. You will pay them tithe and taxes is appropriate, or you can always just sell the land and manor off for the money if you wish.
Yeah, and the late fees are no joke.
We're not. Tessa, have you heard of a non-tiefling northern kingdom?
Tessa would know that to the north of Doshnaral.
That's the Wolfwoods.
Right, so there's the Wolfwoods, but further to the north is a large mountainous region. But there is like flat land towards the bottom of the hills, where to your knowledge, the Tory owned that area. They were never able to capture the Wolfwood because the Wolffolk fought them constantly in the woods. But they did go further north to get resources and recruits for the army. They weren't fully tiefling, unlike those. They brought in Goliaths and mountain folk to supplement their forces, unlike their neighbors to the south in Onbal and Onshin.
I do remember that.
So they did hold technically territory up there, which they did. That's honestly what kept them from fighting the southern cities more, was they had to keep suppressing uprisings because they weren't very good governors and rulers, wouldn't you know?
So Tessa's like, well, I've never been there myself, but there is some land up north. It's definitely not as like the city is. It's not as big, but there is some land up there.
What in the fuck? Nikki turns to Roscoe. What in the fuck?
Uh-huh.
Nikki's
Sorry.
brain is just like shut off.
Did you have something for me? I'm Roscoe Barrick's daughter.
Oh. And he nods, he bows to you. I suppose not, although I'm sure there are people looking for you. You've been gone for quite some time.
Yes, I was very busy.
Yes, actually, the Longhorns that are your neighbors were quite worried about you.
I bet they would be worried because I
Yeah.
bet they're really nice people.
Yes, their seneschal has been helping yours to kind of manage your estate. From what I've been hearing, I don't know. I live in, I don't know much. I live in WtR myself.
Cool.
You wouldn't happen to know if Lady Barrick's daughter had a teleportation circle set up?
I don't. It's a very small. It's more of like, it's not a country like WtR is. This is more of a swatch of land that has claimed its independence.
It's Alsace Lorraine. Occasionally it's held by the Wolfwood, and occasionally it's held by WtR.
Yeah, it's like Luxembourg back in like they've but with the recent changes under Queen Briseis, they have been allowed to sort of make their own go at it. Of course, they do seem to have more pleasant ties to the wolves of the Falklands and the Wolfwood, and of course the Northern Tory.
Okay.
I mean, you have a decent holdings, good farmland, a very profitable mine, copper and iron, such.
I have a mine?
Well, 2 of them.
I have profits?
I would, it's, not large, but I'm sure if you expand your operations, you could certainly do better. I'm not a builder.
What my vassal is trying to say
Nikki elbows you in the side.
is, fuck yes. Time to get paid. And have a great day.
Thank you. I will need you to sign that you have received this. This is news to, just to make sure this is on the up and up. I don't want anyone, we don't want to cheat you. So are you taking the estate, madam?
I guess.
Sign here.
I've certainly received it.
And I will take your oath of fealty, whenever you're ready.
I elbow you again. Do a quick scan of the paper. Is it just like, you received this document?
Yeah,
is there
you
any
received this document.
deep legal shenanigans?
No, it's basically like
Certified mail.
Is it a comically large check?
No. It is a scroll to be like, they have found you, you are you, they have, you have opted to take the property, like you are claiming it versus selling it to one of the other descendants of Lady Quellback. This lawyer informs you are not great people, but, she hated them. That's why she found, she did a lineage, she went to try to find any family she had. She went to the Allorans down in WtR and found you.
Did a 23andMe and she found a distant relation?
Yep, more or less. She did like a 23 and scry, really, and found Nikki and was like, that's who I'm leaving literally everything to.
How long have you been looking for me?
Not very. I went down to Ventos because I was told that's where you were. I had heard you were a student at the academies down there. I then learned that you had come north to Thunderblade seeking adventure in your internship, and I had arrived at the city, I don't know, a day ago, and I've just been... Well, adventures tend to be in taverns, so I just started looking in taverns.
Fair dues, honestly, yeah. Okay, that's... Okay. There's a sort of palpable relief on Nikki's face that I haven't been like dodging them for months.
No, and Neva can tell you, like, this guy's on the up and up. He's trying to do his job, and at this point, go the fuck home, because he's been on the road for a long time trying to find you.
Yeah, okay.
He came across, like, a lot of the world to, like, get you this thing.
Well, I'll shake his hand.
Mm-hmm.
I probably won't be able to go home
I mean, with this...
for a bit.
Yeah, your seneschal has been taking care of things for you, and the Longhorns have been, frankly, dutiful stewards, better than a lot of the other ones I've seen in my time, and they've been making sure your other cousins, I suppose would be the correct word, aren't moving in on anything.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice to have good Minotaur
good.
neighbors in that way.
Is there some way you could arrange for this seneschal to get a sending to me?
Sure, if you
or
you'll need to provide me with a place to send to, or a article he can focus on.
I'll yeah. I'll give, I don't know, like a shirt or something.
Oh, thank you. Yep, we'll use this then, and they will contact you. Now, I apologize. It will take me some time to get back. Luckily, I have money for magical transportation, but still to kind of get everything squared away and then get from Tara to up to your estate will take some time.
Okay,
luckily, I believe there's a portal network in the city of Thunderblade to, I believe, on Shin.
There's definitely a portal network.
Mm-hmm.
That'll do. I can give you directions for I'll give him the business card with the nice
the wizard that you
like the clerk who signed us in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna give the Eternity the card for yeah, the one that we gave the reviews for. I'm not gonna give him the card for what was our wizard's name?
Julius or something.
Yeah, that sounds right. I have the name tag that I drew for him somewhere in my hard drive. Anyway, I'm not going to give him his card because I understand that that's not a vibe that everyone's into. And in particular, attorney doesn't seem like a particularly compatible energy.
You never know.
You never know. You never know.
So he thanks you for your time, and he congratulates you again, and then he turns and leaves and begins making his way to get back home.
So what the fuck?
Dude,
That was weird.
we went over there with penises. This is the least surprising part of this trip.
Thanks.
Now you know we're playing a fantasy role game, right? Because you became women and now you have more money. So
A deep cut.
This is the universe. This is the universe saying, "Hey, those two male characters had one small change. We should definitely make things easier for them again." For a second, they were going to have to struggle to get things. Instead, it will still be handed to them.
only you had pockets to put all your newfound wealth in.
No, our only weakness.
How can I carry all this money? But I think with that's a good stopping point. Is now one of us is titled, one of us has a boyfriend, and one of us is apparently fairly wealthy. So thank you all for coming out to Ryam, and we will see our next steps and how, I guess, Nikki deals with her new boss, Roscoe, next week. Thank you all for coming out, and stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.